Egypt is a country in North Africa that borders the Mediterranean Sea and is home to one of the oldest civilizations on Earth. The name Egypt originates from the Greek Aegyptos, which was the Greek spelling of the ancient Egyptian name which translates into English as Mansion of the Spirit of Ptah, which was formerly the name of the city of Memphis. Memphis was the very first capital of Egypt and a famed center for practices of religion and trade. So famous was Memphis in the ancient world, the Greeks officially referred to the whole country as this name instead of its actual name. To the ancient Egyptians, their country was identified as Kemet, which means black land, so termed for the dark, rich soil which was found along the Nile River where the first settlements started. Egypt prospered for thousands of years from 8000 BC to around 30 BC as a self-governing state whose culture was celebrated for boundless advances in every area of human knowledge, from technology and religion to arts and the sciences. The magnificent monuments which the ancient Egyptians are still renowned for reveal the depth and splendor of Egyptian culture, which in turn influenced so many ancient civilizations, among them Greece and Rome. One of the main reasons for the lasting status of Egyptian culture is its understanding of what it truly meant to be human. Their countless monuments of tombs, sanctuaries, and artwork were all built to celebrate life and stand as tokens of what we as human beings at our best can accomplish. In modern times, movies and literature paint the ancient Egyptians as being obsessed with death and odd ceremonies, which is partly true, which informs us a species of what it means to be a human being and the power and purpose of remembering the past. To the Egyptians, life on Earth was only one piece of an everlasting journey. They believed the soul was eternal and only occupied a human body on this physical world for a short period of time. When an Egyptian died, he or she would be judged in the Hall of Truth, and if found to have led a good life, would move on to a heavenly paradise known as the Field of Reeds. Once they had reached paradise, they could live peacefully in the company of their loved ones on Earth, including family and pets. This everlasting life, however, was only offered to those who had lived decently and in harmony with the will of the gods. Egypt has a long history which goes back far beyond the invention of writing, the famous stories of the gods, and even the monuments, which is what made the Egyptians so popular. Around 10,000 years ago, in 8000 BC, archaeologists found the first evidence of the Egyptians who were farmers of cattle and other livestock on the land which is now the Sahara Desert. This evidence, along with other relics discovered, show us that the early Egyptians were the most successful farming civilization in the region at that time. But the land was extremely difficult to work on, as it was so hot. So a group of hunter-gatherer wanderers broke away from the farmers to seek land closer to the cool waters of the Nile River Valley and started to settle in the region. Structured farming systems began in the valley, and a group of people known as the Badarians began to flourish alongside the river. They would in time develop industries such as workshops and simple factories, and this would be the start of the Egyptian civilization. In time, they would develop written language in the form of hieroglyphs and would mummify their dead and place them in large stone tombs and eventually pyramids. There would be, at first, two separate kingdoms, the North and South kingdoms, but they would be unified into one kingdom under King Narmer. An early Egyptian creation myth tells of the god Atum, who stood at the heart of a churning chaos before the beginning of time and willed creation into existence. Osiris and his sister wife Isis were the first king and queen to rule the world and created civilization. Osiris's brother Set grew jealous of him and murdered him, but Isis brought him back to life, and they had a son named Horus. Osiris was unhappy with the world of the living and exiled himself to rule the underworld, while Horus would eventually take vengeance on Set and killed him. This myth explains how order would always defeat chaos and would become the basis of all future Egyptian religion, rituals, religious texts, and art. Egyptian history has long held a worldwide charm. The ancient Egyptians have inspired later cultures and religious beliefs with popular ideas such as eternal life after death. Much of the religious symbols and the interpretations of Egyptian religion have inspired newer religions such as Christianity, and many of their signs are noticeable today with mostly the same meaning. It is important to recognize the long-lasting influence the Egyptian civilization had on so many works of the imagination, from films to books and paintings, have been and continue to be inspired by its inspirational and reflective vision of the universe and how we as humans fit into that story.